Hey everybody, it's the Mouth of the South, John Schiavone, along with my co-host, the Beast of the East, Jonathan Perriente. We are the hosts of Downtown Sports, your podcast home for everything New York sports. And if you haven't heard, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Let us explain. First off, it's free.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Here's what you guys need to do. You need to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm. Once again, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Let your voice be heard. Be the voice of the voiceless. Anchor.fm. The coronavirus continues to ravage much of the United States. But it's not stopping sports from continuing its push toward a return, one of them being the NHL. On May 26th, Commissioner Gary Bettman announced the NHL's return to play plan with a 24-team tournament. 12 teams from the Eastern Conference, 12 teams from the Western Conference. The top 4 seeds would play in a round-robin style tournament to determine the overall seed placement from 1 through 4. Seeds 5 through 12 would play in a play-in game in a best-of-5 series. The winners that come out of the 5 through 12 seeds will go right to the next round to take on the top 4 seeds, and the NHL will resume its normal playoff structure, 8 teams on each side, best of 7. However, as the plans are in place for the NHL's return, the key ingredient to all this now will be the hub cities that are going to be chosen to be a potential host for the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. Right now, 5 cities remain, 3 in the US, 2 in Canada. For the US, you have Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and Chicago. For Canada, you have Toronto and Edmonton. Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts on these remaining 5 cities and which of them is the more ideal choice to host the Stanley Cup playoffs. When it all comes together, these cities, one for the East, one for the West, will host the Stanley Cup playoffs in either the conference finals or the championship round itself. Let's begin in the United States. We'll begin in Los Angeles. Normally, LA would be the ideal choice for any playoff, any championship of any sport. LA is a big city, big crowds, nice, warm, sunny California. Normally, that would be the ideal choice, but not at the time when the coronavirus pandemic continues to ravage the entire state of California. Los Angeles County alone has seen the worst spike of the coronavirus of the state. Almost 2,000 cases a day now are being reported daily over the last 2 weeks in California. And you have to take that into account when you're ensuring players' safety. How do you get a player to the arena, which is the Staples Center, in a densely populated city? You're going to have people that are not wearing masks. You're going to have people that may not social distance. And you're going to ask these players to go into an arena. They could risk getting sick, getting other people around them sick, and everything could get thrown into chaos. Right now, Los Angeles for me is not an ideal choice. It's too dense in the city. You have a virus that's not in control over there. It's still running rampant. And right now, normally when I would say LA would be a great choice, but this is not the time for the Sunshine State to be hosting a Stanley Cup playoff. Not now. Which then brings me to Chicago. Illinois has the virus under more stable control for now. But just like LA, you have a very similar problem. Very densely populated city. Cars, trains, buses, in and out of the city. The arena right in the downtown area of Chicago. How do you get the players to their destination safely, bring them back, ensuring they don't get other people around them sick? While Chicago may have the virus more under control than LA, the idea of doing these playoffs in downtown Chicago as well as down in Los Angeles, right now you just you can't do it right now. I would love Chicago to host. It's a big city, as it always has been, a windy city. Chicago has been a hockey town forever. The Blackhawks are an original six. It's an ideal city, a lot of fans, a lot of media. But right now, at this time, just like in Los Angeles, Chicago, for the densely populated city it is, you cannot host a tournament here knowing you're going to have all the traffic and the crowds and all these obstacles you'll have to deal with if you're going to have players in an arena like this to play a hockey game. You have to worry about everything when it comes to moving players around and making sure they are in playing shape and do not come down with COVID. That brings me to the final of the three U.S. cities, Las Vegas. Right now, Las Vegas is the leading candidate to host the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it makes sense. Nevada has kept the virus more under control than the first two that I've mentioned. You don't have as many sports going on in Las Vegas. You have the arena that the Golden Knights use, fine. But aside from that, Las Vegas has not opened fully its casinos. It's not like New York, it's not like LA, it's not like Chicago, it's not like any of those densely populated type cities. It's not any of those. So it's a little bit more of a safer bet to host there because you have the hotels, you can get the players in and out, not as much traffic, which is why I can understand Las Vegas could be a possible choice. And if anything, that could be one of the safer bets for me as far as a host city for the United States on the NHL playoffs. Shifting over to Canada. You have Toronto or Edmonton. These are two very good choices here, and Vancouver was going to be another city that had its name in there, but they just backed out of it today. I could understand Edmonton hosting it. I'll explain why. The Oilers did get a new arena in downtown Edmonton. They used to have the Rexall place. Had it still been their home, I would have said Rexall would have been perfect because it's not in the middle of a main city. It's kind of out in a suburban, like in the middle kind of nowhere area where you don't have to worry about spreading the virus there. Yeah, there is a little risk to doing it in downtown Edmonton. I agree. But Canada, of all the countries right now, has done a very good job of controlling the virus, and now they have it more under control than the United States does. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau even said it himself. He has no problems with the NHL being played in Canada. And why shouldn't he? Canada is, after all, the birthplace of hockey. Now, if you do it in Edmonton, yes, it's a populated city. You have the Rogers Place. I can understand that. But again, not heavily as populated as New York, not heavily as populated as Chicago, not heavily as populated as Illinois. But to have it there, I think would be great to bring hockey back to where it came from, and really, it could be that launching point that you're not going to let a pandemic like the virus stop sports, particularly hockey. Folks in Canada cannot live a day without hockey. So for me, that's one good candidate to have Edmonton be a potential host for the West. I think it would make sense. Then the other choice is Toronto. Toronto, another city, You have New York, which borders Canada. From that area, you have Niagara Falls, Buffalo, New York. And from there, it's about an hour or so away. So you'll definitely have people that will probably come across the border. And Prime Minister Trudeau has hinted around July, Canada may open its borders. We don't know that for sure yet, but Canada's borders are not going to be closed forever, so people will be allowed to cross eventually. How soon? We'll have to see. But I could see Toronto being a potential host. It is a major city in Canada. A lot of people love the Maple Leafs. People love the Toronto Raptors as well. They won the NBA Finals last year. They still have that fresh in their mind from that championship. And I think if you really want to get hockey into the spotlight and really get it back, I have no doubt Toronto would be the perfect choice to have it in right now. And as far as I'm concerned, I think it'd be best to just play the NHL playoffs right now in Canada rather than even doing it in the United States altogether. While yes, Las Vegas is the safest bet for the United States right now, the virus is spreading throughout more than half of the U.S. now. 30 out of 50 states are seeing spikes in COVID-19. While Canada has been seeing about 100 or fewer cases now in the entire country. So for me, if I had to make the safest decision, I think Canada would be the ideal host for the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs at this time. Toronto for the East, Edmonton for the West. I think that's the perfect choice. I think that would be the best option that the NHL should take. And we're going to see how this all will play out in the coming weeks. In early July 10th to be exact, the NHL will enter its third phase of its return to play plan. They went into phase 2 on June 8th. This third phase will include the reopening of training camps. So you will see the teams that are going to be playing in the 24-team playoff will have their chances to get back on the ice, get into playing shape, give them about a couple of weeks, and then you go right into the playoffs, no regular season. They will battle it out to determine a 2020 Stanley Cup champion. The key ingredients, as I've said at the beginning, will be players' safety. How do you ensure the players will not contract COVID-19? How do you ensure the players are going to be tested? Are they going to maintain social distancing? Are they going to quarantine if possible? And Trudeau has hinted first they would be required to quarantine, then they really may not have to. You want to take every safe measure possible because these players are also coming from all over the world as well. You have players that were staying in Sweden during this pandemic. You have players that were staying in Norway, in the Netherlands, in the Czech Republic, in Russia. All of them are in different situations as far as how the coronavirus is over there. So we're going to see very soon how the NHL is going to approach the next phase of their return to play plan. I'm Jonathan the Beast of the East Pariente. You can listen to me and my co-host, the Mouth of the South, John Schiavone, on Downtown Sports. We are available on Breaker, Anchor, Spotify, Radio Public, Overcasts, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and on CastBox. You can listen to us every Tuesday, Wednesday for rants, episodes every single week. We are Downtown Sports, where sports come home. Jonathan Pariente, Beast of the East, saying bye for now.